What's up, everyone? I'm Megan Avery, and welcome to BossFM Now, where you know you can always count on BossFM to deliver the latest and greatest in pop culture, politics, and whatever is buzzing in the streets. We do it for the culture.
That's right, Megan. And because we know that you have your phone in hand, we need you to go ahead and download that Boss FM app from your app store and follow us at Boss FM Radio on all social media platforms so that you can stay connected.
Today we've got David with some more rapid fire, some piping hot tea with Rebecca, an eyebrow lifting comment from Meghan McCain, and so much more. So let's get into it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. First on our list today, Governor Andrew Cuomo's administration allegedly helped arrange special access to COVID testing for members of his family. These accusations are coming from two protected sources, according to the New York Times. According to these sources, high-ranking state health officials were also part of this process. Chris Cuomo, a CNN anchor and brother to Governor Cuomo, benefited from this, as well as his family. A spokesperson for Governor Cuomo stated that the testing that the family received was because of contact tracing. Governor Cuomo is already under impeachment investigation because of the many sexual harassment allegations against him.
Wow. Yeah. Kudos to Kumo getting that all started, but not so much towards the sexual allegations. Am I right?
Definitely. This is also going into the investigation. There are two separate investigations for him now for impeachment, one for these sexual harassments and one for this testing, jumping of the line that happened as well.
Yeah, I think the last thing I heard was that the New York Attorney General was looking into this, and hey, let's just hope they find an answer pretty soon, right?
Definitely. There needs to be some reparations for whatever's been going on over in New York. Let's check out what Jacarious has to tell us about a detective who's divorcing his wife.
Hey guys, do you remember that time everyone stormed the Capitol? Of course you do. Well, a police officer named Michael Helm in Pennsylvania begged his wife not to go. But guess what, guy? She went. And not only that, she brought another man. Pictures surfaced of Jennifer with fellow Trump supporter Kenneth Grayson. An investigation went into their social media accounts and dug up several messages between Jennifer and Grayson from November 12, 2020 to January 11, 2021, in which they shared plans to travel, rent a hotel, and get a vehicle near the Capitol. As investigators searched to identify and find crowd members, Jennifer was charged with several crimes, including disorderly and disruptive conduct on restricted grounds and violent entry and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. Man, I tell you, that really shook me, and I'm surprised that all those people haven't just been found yet.
Definitely. I feel like it's been enough time that everyone should have been figured out by now, but we are still finding people who went to this every single day.
Well, on a brighter side, we got Entertainment Corner with Marion. Let's check it out.
Thank you guys in the studio. For today's Entertainment Corner, we'll be talking about why Chrissy Teigen deleted her Twitter, Kelly Clarkson's views on marriage after her divorce, and what venues are opening back up starting April 1st. Let's get into it.
Now, we all know Chrissy Teigen isn't a stranger to giving her public opinion. The former model, wife, and mother got into several Twitter controversies over the years, but on Wednesday, Teigen took to Twitter to give a formal goodbye to her fans before eventually deleting her account. She mentioned that over the years, she hasn't been able to block out the negativity, praying for Chrissy's mental health. Kelly Clarkson welcomed actress Gwyneth Paltrow to her talk show yesterday. The two talked about Gwyneth's decision to remarry. Kelly spoke about the beauty of Paltrow finding love despite her first failed marriage. The former American Idol winner talked about how she couldn't see herself going through it with another marriage after splitting with her husband Brandon Blackstock. The Virginia governor announced that he is loosening restrictions and welcoming larger crowds back starting April 1st. This will allow 30% occupancy rate in venues. Is the year finally turning around? That was your Entertainment Corner with Marion Palmer.
Wow, honestly, it's kind of weird to think about the fact that things are starting to open up again. But check this out. We've got a quick clip addressing the latest comment from Meghan McCain.
excluded women farmers. And so we're going to a place where even if people need money, even if people are qualified to get into Ivy Leagues, race and gender is more important than your skill qualifications, the content of your character. It is not what Martin Luther King Jr. preached. I think this is a very, very slippery slope. I was very surprised to hear someone like Tammy Duckworth say something like this. She got a lot of blowback from a lot of people, not just on the right. And I think this is actually just the natural progression of identity politics. And I will say, just to put a cap on this, The View is 25 years old next year. We've only had one Asian American co-host this show. So does that mean that one of us should be leaving at some point because there's not enough representation? We're talking about, is identity politics more important than qualifications of a job? And I think that's a question going forward that the progressive left is going to have to reconcile.
Okay, and before we go, because we're going to go and take a break, eventually we're going to come back and talk about the black farmers.
I'd like to welcome to our studio Harvey. So Harvey, what were your initial thoughts when you first saw this?
Well, when I first thought about this, I thought, wow, it's pretty easy to say all this, in the position that Ms. McCain is in. And I also thought, I interviewed an Asian woman. She was my former professor at university, and she brought up how when she started her journalism career, there weren't many Asian American male or females in the journalism world starting their careers. She was one of a few Asian women in journalism, and when she started out, there's only one Asian male in her class. And so from where she was to where she is now, thankfully, there's more Asian representation. But for Ms. McCain to say that, to make things equal, that, one person of this race or one person of another race has to get themselves out just to make everything equal, that doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't help the inclusion, the diversity, and the overall equality of what we're trying to do as a nation. So I think it's very easy. It's super easy to say all this, but it's very difficult to put yourself in anybody else's shoes that has been marginalized or limited to be part of any job field. I'm Hispanic, but that's not going to stop me from going to where I want to be. And if you're going to talk about skills, skills is what should separate you from the pack. So it's very easy to say all that. It's definitely difficult to relate. That's what I'll go for.
And how about you, Jacarious? What were you feeling when you first saw this?
Well, Harvey made a great point as far as not speaking on something that I guess people of color have to experience. Being white, she's not in a very marginalized community. Well, yes, she is a woman, but I don't think that plays into like this part of The View that has an all-woman cast. Yeah, skills should matter, I believe, over anything else. Skills, experience, but we can't deny the fact that representation matters. The View is broadcasted to America, and America is full of many different people and backgrounds. I believe the American people will like to see people who look like them. So for the fact that The View hasn't had an Asian correspondent in 25 years seems a little fishy to me.
Oh, definitely. I know when I first saw this, the only thing I could think of when I was hearing her speak was when she was talking about, we're going to let people of color who aren't as good or who don't have these skills come in. I was just like, well, that also is a whole different system of its own when we talk about racism in school systems and in jobs and internships. How do you expect everyone to come to the same level with the privilege you've had of the schools you get to go to, the jobs you get, the opportunities you get, when other people might not get that? They might have the exact same skills, even better, but because of the different places that they have not been able to go to, it makes them seem like less or more worse at their job. But that's just not true.
Yeah, right. I also wonder, what happened prior to that being recorded? I don't know, but I have a feeling that her job security was threatened. What do you think, Harvey?
Yeah, I mean, Whoopi Goldberg's face said it all after she was done speaking. It's so far-fetched and it's so, I guess, blasphemous would probably be a good word to describe it all, that that A, that you would come out and say such a thing, and that B, you would bring up Asian Americans. I mean, it's all very coincidental, isn't it? And I mean, for what's happening in journalism nowadays, with more women coming up and more Asian Americans coming up and more Hispanics coming up, more needs to be done, of course. But one other thing, by the way, Miss McCain's hair, the hairdresser definitely has some shade towards her. So I definitely can see that it's very see-through, and wonder what else she comes up with next.
Well, hey, thank you, Harvey. We'll see you in a bit. Contributor David Medina has a new episode of Rapid Fire. Let's check it out.
What's up, guys? You guys are now tuned in to Rapid Fire. I'm your host, David Medina with BossFM Now. Now let's hop into the latest trendy news. The Dallas Mavericks all-star Luka Doncic gives Air Jordan 1s to vaccination workers. In the ongoing fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, few have been affected more than the healthcare workers across the globe. And Luka Doncic has provided an added boost of optimism to those assisting in the fight against the deadly pandemic by surprising vaccination workers with new Air Jordans. Xiao Shen-Shei is paying it forward. The 75-year-old grandmother made headlines this month after she fought off a man who attacked her on San Francisco's Market Street. The assault occurred amid surging violence against Asian Americans, and just one day after a Georgia mass shooting left 8 people, including 6 women of Asian descent, dead. Shei's family set up a GoFundMe campaign to help cover the various medical expenses for her injuries. The GoFundMe page listed a fundraising goal of $50,000. However, the campaign received an overwhelming amount of media coverage and has since generated more than $950,000, nearly $1 million more than what they were seeking. Shei's family decided to donate all the campaign funds to help combat anti-Asian hate and violence. FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, has expanded its definition of disaster relief with its latest program, which it hopes will lessen the financial burden of families whose loved ones have died from COVID-19. On Wednesday, FEMA announced in a press release that starting in April, it will reimburse funeral expenses and allocate up to $9,000 for individuals, and a maximum of $35,000 for multiple funerals. That's it for Rapid Fire. I'm your host, David Medina with BossFM Now. Now back to the guys in the studio.
Well, what FEMA is doing right now, I find absolutely amazing, but honestly, really surprising.
Oh yeah, right. That is pretty surprising, and actually all these stories were surprising. We got a basketball player gifting shoes to healthcare workers. Amazing. A fighting grandmother. I mean, I think that story speaks for itself. And yeah, like we said, FEMA. Man, I wonder how they go about that selection process, It's like, how do they know who passed from COVID? I mean, obviously, I guess the doctor bill, but like, are they just doing it for people who passed from COVID? Or are they doing it for people who are just passing around this time in these COVID times,
Yeah, I guess it wasn't specified what types of deaths is going to be. So it's going to be interesting to see what is qualified in that.
Well, in other news, our lovely anchor Megan has a story for us regarding North Korea. Let's check it out.
North Korea fired 2 missiles into the Sea of Japan this week. The missiles are ballistics, which are considered a threatening weapon under the United Nations. This happened just a couple days after North Korea fired 2 non-ballistic missiles into the Yellow Sea. The firing into the Sea of Japan happened right after a North Korean man was retrieved by the U.S. He had been laundering money in America and sending it back to North Korea for luxury goods. President Biden has yet to make an official comment about this, but from what I know, I can definitely tell we are heading in a little bit of a scary direction.
Oh, yeah.
We always know that the tea is going to be piping hot when Rebecca arrives. Let's tune in with our favorite girl to gossip with.
Welcome to Tea with Becca. Grab your cups, take a sip, because the tea is here for you. And today we're going to talk about Sweetie. And we're going to talk about how she recently did an interview where she said, I won't act like there isn't a certain type of power that comes with people admiring your face. So she's basically talking about pretty girl privilege. Now, most of us know what that feels like. Where you go out to the club and somebody's just like, oh, you're just so beautiful, let me buy you this. I'll pay for everything that you have on your table. And it's just like, I mean, go ahead. I won't say no. A free meal. That's for me. If you think about how beauty was in the early 2000s, plus size beauty wasn't a thing. of being called beautiful and society actually accepting you and allowing you to feel beautiful. People are more confident, people are more accepting, people are allowed to live in their own skin without fear of being judged by everyone. But that's all the tea we have for today, but please stay tuned because I have more tea tomorrow.
All right, I'd like to welcome back to our stream again, Harvey. So Harvey, how are you feeling about pretty girl privilege?
It's definitely relatable. We definitely seen it, whether it's at bars or dance clubs or even like a get together. Think of all the movies you guys seen of like the guy walks up to the bar and the lady's sitting there with her drink in the hand or stuff like that, and like he offers to pay or he offers a dance and all that. So it's definitely seen. The one thing I do like that Rebecca brought up is that plus size women are definitely more appreciated now than ever. Thankfully, this is the case, whether it's celebrities like Lizzo or other plus size models in Victoria's Secrets or whatnot. Listen, beauty in the eye of the beholder is a very fine saying, but it's way better when it's actually seen and visualized and actually executed. So I'm glad that plus size women are being treated way better than it has in the past. But yes, pretty girl privilege is definitely here. I don't think there's anything to really stop it per se, because if you're beautiful, you're beautiful. If you got it, you got it. So I'm sure you can relate, Megan, for this stuff.
Yeah, definitely. There have been, way back when we were able to go out and do things, there's definitely times where my friends in different friend groups would be asked by guys for everything and drinks bought for the whole table because of them. And even though it wasn't me personally, I got to benefit from it. So it was pretty cool either way.
Yeah, pretty girl privilege, definitely a thing. And if you're a woman and feel comfortable with doing it, I would definitely, get what you can out of it. Well, anyway, hey Harvey, thanks for being here. We really appreciate your commentary.
Thank you.
Of course. And all right, everyone, that is actually it for BossFM Now today. So make sure you tune in tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern for more of our latest and greatest. If you'd like to watch our shows, as always, they will be available for replay on our BossFM app and on all our social media platforms. Thanks again for tuning in, everyone. It's Megan Avery.
And I'm Jacarious, Stanley.
Have a good
Have
week.
a great weekend. Hey.